Live. So we're just gonna go over what's going on in the market, and we're gonna take a look at some of the comments from my last video, looking at what other people are picking in crypto. So feel free to share your picks. Otherwise, we're gonna go through some comments that were made in the latest video. So we're gonna look at pros, cons, risks, and stuff like that. But in the markets today, pretty good. A lot of things have been moving up. One of my favorite picks, Sui, has been doing well. From the top 30 coins, it has been performing pretty well over the last 30 days. XLM has been doing pretty well too, but I don't know anyone who actually uses XLM. But I do know people who use Sui and the ecosystem there. So would always be interesting to find out what's going on in these other ecosystems and who's moving the fastest. So let's just jump in and we're going to answer some comments. And we're going to start with this first one, Doge, a newer, better movement than SPX. So I guess it's in reference to SPX 6900. But when we have these beta plays where you have the initial coin and then we have something similar to it, it just is difficult to pick up steam. So we can see here that it's been around for several weeks, for 2 weeks, and it's moving up in price. It went up 427%. We look at the markets, it's only available in DeFi platforms. It's available on one exchange, KCEX, but you can see the depth there where you're not going to get a good price if you are going to buy there, just because the liquidity isn't as good as it is on a decentralized exchange. Now, if we are looking at meme coins as a serious investment, we have to look at the community. Now, a community that's been around for 2 weeks is not a strong community. We want to make sure that the community has survived through the low points, that it's been around for at least several months. And that's what Murad has said for what makes a meme coin successful, where it's already tested itself, like all the people who were there to dump have dumped already, and then it's a community movement. So Doge isn't at that point yet, and it's not something I would touch this early. We want to see this dump and then continue to still be exciting for people to continue building, but for now, not the best play. All right, we got some people in this chat. Achiever, welcome. Achiever, great guy, great energy, brings people onto Sui, and definitely give him a follow on X, because he's someone you want to follow. I'm going to do more of these live streams, so Achiever, you're always welcome on, but I just have to set these schedules more. I'll probably do it at this time daily, maybe 4 or 5 times a week, trying to get a regular show going, just because gotta make more content. Satoshi is an AI from 3022. You gotta give me more information. I don't know what we're looking at. I already warned you about fake comments, but my comment every time is getting ignored by you because your videos have immense. Yeah, that's true. That's not on me though. Those are spam bots, and I actually just posted it on my YouTube page that I just deleted a bunch of comments, and I hate doing that because it takes a lot of time out of my day. You report them, nothing happens. There's no incentive for YouTube to help you out there to remove these spam comments. But the easiest way to identify them is that they say all the same thing. So let's take a look at my comments, and we're gonna jump in here. So I'm gonna look at a different comment. Let me just load it up. So we're going into my community section. We're see that. All right, if you see something with a bunch of replies and 88 likes, and it's only been, not as many views, that's already going to be a scam. That's pretty obvious to people. Let's see. Yeah, again, same situation. A lot of likes, a lot of replies for some reason. There's always going to be scam comments, and there's nothing you can do. And yeah, from 15K to 79K, anytime it's a really long message, anytime it's written really nicely, it's using AI. And yeah, it's it's not a great place for comments. That's why I say in my videos, do not trust the comments because they are going to be spam. So yeah, we're going to continue looking at other projects from things I think are real comments. What do you think is the best project to farm now? There are a lot. There are a lot of different projects. I think Josh and I talked about Praxis Nation. They raised so much money, over $500 million, and they're building this futuristic community. So we'll see what happens there. You know, for reference, I think Sui only raised $200 million. Praxis raised 500 million. So we'll see where they go with that much money. As for things that I'm actively farming, I made a video with Yield Optimizer, or Yo, or at Yield on X. I saw that their platform gives you yield on Ethereum, Bitcoin, stable coins, and then they had this Pendle farm where you could loop and then get the yield early, where you can maximize the points. I know it sounds really confusing. You have to walk through all the different steps, but I'm using Pendle and Yo to farm their points like crazy because I think it's going to be like an EtherFi drop where it is going to be valuable since there aren't a lot of competitors in the yield optimizing space right now. Let's see. Please do a deep dive on Swarm Network. Yes, I was going to dive into that. I saw your comments in the last one here, and we were going to jump into that. Let's do that now. Michael, double Mike. So we're going to look at Swarm Network. That's on Sui. Let's see if they launched the token yet. And it's actually harder to find out because there are a lot of swarms. Can you be more specific, or we're going to have to jump to X and we'll take a quick look if we can find it. So we're going to look for Swarm Network, and we want to find the one that's being followed by Sui. So it is being followed by Sui, building a future where real-time, on-chain verified data powers AI swarms, community-owned, collaboratively built, truth-driven on Sui Network. So let's take a look. Agent clusters and swarm on top of verified on-chain data. We got a white paper, so it's still in its early stages. A truth protocol for real-time verified arbitrary data with real utility driving. We got to see this in action first before we do anything. Zero backer, premium backers, Sui. Good luck, have fun. I don't know that one. YZ, zero stage. So not anything we can really look at yet, right? The product isn't live. There is no token. So this is kind of a hard one to research. And when we talk about things like agent clusters, swarms, verified on-chain data, it sounds great. It sounds great in practice, but how much value is it going to drive to the chain? How many people are actually going to use it? You know, you could have data and then you could have verified data. It's like having eggs and then free range eggs. Are people going to pay the premium for it? Or is that like a more niche consumer base? So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Swarm. But yeah, still early. Got to see how the market responds to their product, or if they just have really good marketing. Can you look into Arbitrum, RARB? I'm going to assume that's Arbitrum. They have been making waves lately. I forgot what the platform is to check the flow of money. I have to take a look, but we can look into DeFi Llama, and we see that Arbitrum, and we can see how much money has been moving into their ecosystem. Obviously, they've been trending lately because Robinhood chain, Robinhood the app, is building on Arbitrum, so they have been really grinding lately. And I did make a detailed video on them earlier this year. Did not get a lot of views, but it's there, and I think it'll be helpful for you to understand what's available in their ecosystem and where things are going. We can see all the action is happening on GMX. They're making all the fees right now and the different protocols that are on there. And let me just check. There is a portal to see what's going on in Arbitrum, Ethereum's leading ecosystem. You can see trending products, new products, things like that. But that's just there's so much things happening on Arbitrum or that are being built on Arbitrum. Kind of hard to answer that. But I am interested when Robinhood chain launches because I want to know what's going on there. And I think that's where some of the biggest opportunities in crypto will be because Robinhood has a huge amount of users, like uh, dozens of millions. I forgot how many, but they have millions of degenerate users. And if you can get value from that on chain, there's an opportunity. So I'm going to be looking towards Robinhood and their blockchain when they launch. So I don't know if they already did, but looks like they have a layer 3 promotion, introduction to Robinhood Wallet, discover NFTs with Robinhood, 0 participants. So they haven't even promoted this yet. So I guess that's a big opportunity for you to be early. So I would recommend that out. Yay, you're live. You're my favorite crypto influencer. Awesome. I appreciate that. I try to keep things realistic for people. And I read way too much about crypto, so I guess I got a lot of insights now. Also, you need a super chat so we can donate. I got to figure out how to set that up. I'll figure that out maybe next time. Thank you, Mrs. Is this one of those? Oh, maybe you're mentioning like how the scam comments are. Are you the whale behind pumping XRP? No. No, man. It's hard. The XRP community has been the most brutalized community in crypto just because, it's been underperforming Bitcoin for the longest time, that they have the XRP army, so many people that believe in it, but the founders, the team just continue to sell. They keep printing and selling as much as possible anytime it prints, so it just doesn't get the run that it deserves. So, XRP is trying to start cooking up their own DeFi ecosystem, but we'll have to wait and see what that demand looks like. It just isn't there yet. You don't want to underperform Bitcoin. You want to find things that have that momentum, that have that usage, that has that community outside of just that culty community. So, no offense to the XRP army, but I'm sure you've seen other coins outperform XRP. So you want to figure out what isn't going right for XRP. I'm trying to be nice here, so all the wording isn't as smooth. But yeah, there's a lot of not so positive things that I'd also like to say. Give us a couple good crypto projects with 5x or more potential. Actually, in this market, if we have an alt season, any decent coin is gonna 5x. So if you want like the highest potential coins, I would look into the emerging blockchains that are launching. Abstract, look into their ecosystem, farm a lot of airdrops in that. I think Abstract is going to do really well just because they put a lot of effort into their UI. I would look into Mega ETH. They didn't raise as much money as other blockchains, just 20 million, but they created the Mega Mafia. They really cater to UI experience and vibes. So some of their applications might do really well. And of course, Robinhood chain. And if we're looking for blockchains that are out now, Solana always has a lot of action there and a lot of new projects. I like Sui. I'm big on the Sui ecosystem. I think that GameFi might be big there starting next month when the Sui Play launches, when more GameFi infrastructure starts launching. So we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, that's not guaranteed. It's just something I think. And when we have these pumps in certain ecosystems like Sui, a lot of the other smaller market cap coins start to go up. So I'm sure you've been seeing that with things like SuiLand and Navi Protocol. A lot of their DeFi projects have been pumping along with Sui. So you kind of want to position yourself accordingly when it comes to these ecosystem pumps. Can you look at Fetch? Oh yeah, Fetch AI. I know that one. How have they been doing? Let's take a look. Took a look a few months ago. Let's see. Fetch. Oof. Okay, let's Look at the last year, down 44% over the last year in a Bitcoin bull market. So that's even worse. And over the last month, up 10%, while the average market was like 50%. I'm going to say not good. Not good. It's not looking good, man. So good luck. But you want to diversify. You want to try different things. And I know it's hard to eat these losses because you believed in these coins, but it's just underperforming most of the market, as you can see. So unless you have some kind of information edge where you know that it's gonna pump, where you believe that it's gonna outperform these other coins, it's gonna be tough. So that's all I can say. I mean, I've looked at the project before. I know it is AI, but there's just so many different projects in AI now that if it's not getting the attention, if it doesn't have any demand, then it's going to be really tough to sell the token. Your top 10 coins to buy now. Say, I don't want to be liable for people not making money. I think there are a lot of opportunities. I have a few that I can talk about of why I believe in it and why I'm holding it. Right now, I'm big on Pengu. Pengu just keeps getting all these different partnerships that they have the momentum. The penguin is so recognizable that the community has just been growing like crazy. So it is the Dogecoin of this cycle. I believe it'll continue to pump over the next few months as crypto continues pumping up. And, they are in stores. They have actual penguin plushies. They have like actual how do you say this? A non-Web3 audience. That's the most important thing, where you have your crypto audience and then your non-crypto audience, and very few projects can overlap that. So I'd say Pengu is one of my top ones. I'm using leverage on Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as a couple other things. I'm big on some DeFi things. But very few projects I have a lot of conviction for. I have high conviction for Sui just because I'm a Sui user and I like the experience. I like what Base is doing. We can take a look at one of the biggest pumps right now, Zora, which has been doing really well, but I can't buy this coin just because I know how bad the project is. So this is Zora. And yeah, that's a 10x. You if you bought it like 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago, that's a 10x. That is an easy 10x. Now the reason why Zora is pumping, and I lost some money trying to short it, is because it is what people are using on Base to make money. So I'm gonna say I don't have the best information. This is something I wouldn't invest in just because I know the user experience is so bad. Where if you use Zora, that's where people are making money, where people are buying NFTs. That it's kind of like Instagram, but all the images are just trash, man. All the images are trash. People are supporting other people in the hopes of a Farcaster airdrop or some kind of other base airdrop, and a lot of the ecosystem is kind of closed off. So, this is Stripe and they put theirs up and then you can buy it. You're not actually paying $8,000 for this, but if you want to like this, you have to buy it. So, you can't just like this. I think you can comment, but it's tough. So you can see 6 other people bought this, the different holders. The entire ecosystem has been pumping, but there's nothing I want to buy on here because these are just like terrible Instagram images. So Zora is kind of like pump fun, but for terrible Instagram photos. And you have to put in money to engage with these posts. So I don't really see a Web2 audience buying into this. I see this pump as shorts getting liquidated because other people see the same thing and that it isn't going to have that natural demand. So they have been selling Zora as, hey, you can make money on your posts, you can get paid for your content, but in reality, I've posted on there, people don't buy it. You have to have an audience of people that actually like your post or are your friends to buy and speculate on it. And you're just And the people that actually pay for these things are just bag holding, they're just bag holding. So it's tough, man. I don't believe in the platform. I think there is not going to be Web 2 adoption for it. But since it is incorporated with the base app, people are believing in it, they're speculating it, they're using the Zora token as like the medium of exchange between the posts and the sales. So kind of like how virtuals, you want to buy like a virtuals AI coin, it has to go through the virtual token. Zora is doing a similar thing. So yes, there is going to be utility for the token, but I don't really see any natural demand because, discovery is terrible, the posts are terrible, and you can't engage with something without buying it. So I think it's going to leave a lot of people left out. So that's just my thoughts. I know it's not my top 10, but maybe something to watch to short in the future. Is TARS AI a good buy? Yeah, I don't know. Someone keeps mentioning that, but it looks terrible. We mentioned it in I think the live stream in my latest video, and we'll take a quick look just so I have a refresher. The AI architecture protocol on Solana. I believe it's just a marketplace though, right? Solana's AI market. Deploy, tokenize, and trade AI agents across Solana's biggest marketplace. So kind of like a virtuals platform. We can look into their AI market. It could be big, but even virtuals has been struggling. So that's what you need for the price to go up. You need demand for people to get into these markets, to create things, to buy things. And you can see here that there's zero volume on a lot of these latest coins. Let's look at oldest. Zero volume. So that's terrible. You want to see people trading coins that are on this platform. If they're not trading it, then that platform isn't making any money, and the token just isn't getting that utility. So obviously virtuals is the leader in the AI marketplace space, and there's a lot of competitors that are launching similar things like TARS AI, but there just isn't any demand for these AI agents, and that narrative is kind of over unless you build something with a lot of good utility. So I would say not a great buy. But, things can change very quickly if there's momentum, if there's people shilling it, if there's a lot of marketing behind it. Sentiment changes in an instant. What do you think of Bonk? I've been waiting for it to dip, but it doesn't seem to be. Do you think it will anytime soon? Now, Bonk has been doing really well, and that's because they launched their pump fund style launchpad where people can launch any type of coin, and it's been doing more volume than pump fund. So let's take a look at the numbers on DeFi Llama. And yeah, just to show you how this works, we want to take a look at pump fund, and that's in Solana. So we look in chains, we look in Solana. Obviously, we can find Bonk pretty easily, but we also want to compare it to pump fund. So I'm going to sort by fees because I feel like it's going to be close to the top, and it is. Let's Bonk.fun. They made $1.43 million in fees in the last 24 hours, while Pump Fund did $656,000. So Let's Bonk.fun has been driving a lot of value to Bonk. So that is the indicator. If that continues to trend, I mean, Bonk could keep going up. So Bonk is no longer just a meme coin. It is this launchpad comparable to Pump Fund, but actually doing significantly better right now. Sajin. Hey Dan, could you do a dedicated video on Sui NFT plays and future potential? Yes, I can. So I'm not too big on the Sui NFT marketplace, but we can bring that up. And all the action really happens on tradeport.xyz. So let's check that out. And we are going to sort by Sui. You can see that they do Sui, Move, Supra, Aptos, Near, and Stacks. But we want to only look at the Sui ecosystem. Now, Sui is still lacking degenerates. It's lacking degenerate traders because there isn't a lot of NFT volume. There isn't a lot of meme coin volume, and there isn't as much speculation, but it's good technology and a good experience. Now, if you kind of take a look, the volume, $85,000 in volume. That's like total volume. That's not last 24 hours. That's total volume. So, if they made 10%, all right, well, they made like $8,500 from this NFT project, and it's not quite that significant as compared to like Ethereum and the trading volume that you see there, or even Solana. Okay, so total volume 103,000 Sui. If there was like 10% in fees, 10,000 Sui, $40,000. That's pretty good as just a general number, but you got to also remember this is Ondo Finance. This is a decentralized application. There's overhead. There's a platform that they're building. I don't know if they're using this to fundraise. So, if you're launching an NFT project, there isn't a lot of money for you on Sui just because there isn't that trading volume, at least not yet. So for myself, I still haven't found an NFT community that I'm all in on. I have a Fuddies, I have Carrier Pigeons, I have the DeLorean Time Capsule because it was free. I have a Rootlet. I don't have a Prime Machine because those are a little pricey. I had a Doonies, but I sold at a much higher price, which was great because I got in for like 20, sold at 80. I felt like that was a great trade. But, these NFT communities are still starting, so there is a lot of opportunity, but it's still early. So I don't think I can make a video quite yet, just because you kind of have to see that trend there, and there just isn't enough attention as of yet. But I was thinking of launching some NFTs just for fun and for free to the community, so feel free to join my community, Off-Brand Crypto. It's Josh and some other people, and we're going to launch NFT collections for free, and we're just going to make fun collections. I think we might do one on Abstract soon, just because you get points on Abstract Chain before it launches if you are involved in some transaction volume in NFT. So that could be an opportunity there. Same for Sui. I keep waiting, but it only goes up. Yeah, they keep innovating. They do a real good job of continuing to innovate, and I think that's just what we're gonna keep seeing. All right, aside from BTC and ETH, I can see the value in Solana, especially with memes. Everything else is marketing and hype. Yeah, that is a good assessment because that's what it is. Marketing and hype drives value to a token. Tokenomics doesn't matter. Real world use cases don't really matter. Even transaction volume doesn't really matter. A lot of these tokens don't bring value to the user. Like, it could be revenue for the protocol, but it doesn't bring revenue back to the actual token in most cases. So that's the indicator you have to see. If you see marketing and hype and good vibes and people are excited about a project, that project is probably going to go up in price, especially in a bull market, because attention sells. So if you take anything from crypto, that's what you have to take. Attention is the biggest opportunity out there for investing. And that's why it's hard to really pick what's the best coin. You have to find out what has the most attention and if it's continuing to get attention. And that's what I've been seeing with Pengu and with Sui. All in Sui and Deep Dan. Yes. Deep diving. I don't know, man. I need a break. I know this chat's only been up for like 30 minutes. It's always great to have like someone else on stream so I don't have to talk the whole time. But yeah, it's like talk twice as much tired. Pengu, but even at this price, yeah, I think it's still pretty good. I wanted to go all in, but maybe buy a little. They're supposed to make an announcement on Monday with another big partnership that's bigger than ETFs. At least that's what someone was hyping up on Twitter. I've only seen more attention going to Pengu, so I wouldn't fade it. I saw the same thing happen with Dogecoin, and I faded Dogecoin in the last cycle and was like, I don't really get it. But people were hyped up on Reddit, on X. Elon Musk brought everyone to be bullish on it, and it peaked when he went on SNL. So if anyone from Pengu goes on SNL, that's the top signal you absolutely sell. Until then, lots of opportunity in my humble opinion. I am betting heavily on AR, I believe that's Arweave, because of 99% supply and low liquidity on SEX that can cause supply shock in case of alt season. So, I mean, low liquidity just kind of means that there is price manipulation. Well, not saying there is, but there could be price manipulation with low liquidity that happens pretty commonly with crime coins. I don't think it's going to happen with Arweave or AO, but we've seen that with Mantra or token OM. I think it's Mantra or Manta. I keep forgetting that people mix those up all the time, and I'm doing that too. But it was a RWA project. People were taking loans about it, and it just had low liquidity, and then the market makers sold. Same thing with movement. So I would not use that as an indicator. Again, we want to look at marketing and hype, or if they're generating so much revenue, you can't ignore it, like Bonk. SXT is something unique and I think is being slept on at the moment. One of the very few investments by M12, the venture of Microsoft. So maybe let's take a look. Now, Visa and MasterCard have been investing in crypto as well, but that just wasn't getting attention. I try to follow these. I try to see these types of demand, and sometimes it just isn't there. Are you sure it's SXT Space and Time? Oh yeah, someone did mention this. I believe we talked about it in another stream. So let's see. In the last month, up 50%. Again, that's kind of what you expect with the market average. So nothing too crazy there. $500 million fully diluted, 142. Let's see. What is that? 28% of the supply in the market. We looked that it's listed on tier 1 exchanges. Coinbase, always impressive if it's listed there. And I forgot what this is. Built on Space and Time, blockchain for ZK proven data. Yeah, people don't get excited about this unless there is demand. And let's launch the studio. Let's see what this looks like. Index chains, data sets, write a prompt to have AI generate SQL on your behalf. So it looks like an AI blockchain tool for queries on any chain, which is cool. It's kind of like a fancier AI version of Dune. Is that going to get me to invest? Not really, unless someone sells me on the demand for it and why people are hyped up about it. So just something to consider. 50% over the last month is fantastic. We look at the last year, down 35%. Oh wait, no, that's not the last year. That's since 2 months ago. Yeah, it hasn't been out that long. So it's been out for 2 months. Again, underperforming Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has been in a bull market. So yeah, in average for the last month, not something that has sold me yet, but if they are generating a lot of revenue, it could be something. But based on what I've seen so far, I'm not excited about it, and I think it's going to be hard to get hard to drive that attention. Let's go Sui to $10. I think that's going to happen, but on-chain data, still not a lot of activity yet. I think we just need more degenerates on Sui trying out different things. Do you see more upside on Momo? Do I know what that is? I don't. And it doesn't look like there is a top project yet on CoinMarketCap. It might be this one that's 19 days old, so I'm not gonna touch that one, or this one that's 1 day old. if you are investing in meme coins, look for something that's been around for at least 6 months, because that community is going to be a lot stronger than something that's been around for 1 month. Communities can disappear very quickly. Thoughts on SuiNS? I am holding some SuiNS. So yeah, we're going to take a look at that. The price hasn't really done that well. Again, last month, up 12%. It's been underperforming the market over the last year. Terrible, terrible. But it is a Mistin Labs project. It's more than just, Dan.Sui. It's you building out these corporations with it. There's a lot of different things you could do with it, but I guess it just doesn't have that demand and hype yet. So I am holding Sui name service. They are a portion of the profit is set to buy back the token. That still hasn't driven enough demand. I think it's just that it's still too cheap to use, and there isn't enough demand yet. So we'll have to wait and see. People don't get really excited about name services, but I thought with all the different utility that Mistin Labs was building behind it, that it would have been getting more attention, but it's not. It's something I have a small bag though, so FYI. You got to tell me if it's that meme coin that's less than a month old, very dangerous. Potato lands on Sui. So yeah, we were just looking at Tradeport, and I think a lot of people are making money off of the land assets that they're farming, which is great. But yeah, I think that's also one of the most successful Sui NFT projects where the price actually went up, or it started at a low price and continued to climb. I'm not holding any potato land because I missed out on the launch sale and then I just forgot about it. But I think there is some potential there. I'm just a little burned from like DeFi kingdoms and farming all these different NFTs and assets on top of things that I'm very very skeptical about these fake farmed assets that don't drive any value to me long term. So I just be a little careful with that. Just something to consider. Samuel Benjamin, Sui, Solana, ADA. So first two, pretty good. I think Cardano's been underperforming. It might pick up. I think they also announced that they were going to sell $100 million worth of Cardano to buy Bitcoin. So, Cardano is kind of an older blockchain. It hasn't been getting that DeFi adoption, and yeah, it's struggling. But that Cardano community is strong. That could drive some potential there, but yeah, it's not for everyone. I don't know if they can do something to get people excited about Cardano again, to bring in new users. If they do good marketing, then potentially. Sweet Directory. Dan, Eka is launching this week. Do you got an allocation? I think I have some. I didn't check because I have a lot of different assets that made me eligible for the airdrop. But man, I don't know about Eka. It was really an ICO where you have to level up your NFT and you get a higher allocation. That's an ICO. You sold a product before launching the product. So that is a weird way to get an airdrop. So I'm a little skeptical about it. It seems like an over glorified bridge that, again, is still not even in its test phases where you can use it and, get an airdrop that way. So I kind of avoided Eka. I want to wait and see. I know people are super bullish about it on crypto Twitter. There hasn't been a lot of, negative opinions about that. And it's hard to, if you're in the Sui ecosystem, I'm not trying to burn any bridges there because I know some of these people, but I don't know about Eka. I feel like it's overhyped, and I'd be really careful with that launch because, again, they are selling you on this thing that isn't available yet, and that we don't know how much demand there will be. Because I use a lot of different blockchains. I don't know if I would use a service that allows me to use all the blockchains at once. It would have to be a significantly better user experience. If it can do that and it provides a worse user experience, no one's going to use it. So that is something I will avoid. So I'm not in Ika. If I get an airdrop, I'm absolutely selling. Caspa. Oh, I haven't looked at the Caspa price, but people are always bullish about Caspa. Let's see. 1 month, 41% again. Not bad. Not bad. Over the last year, underperformed Bitcoin, down 44%. If you don't know what Caspa is, it's kind of like Bitcoin. It is a proof of work cryptocurrency. You can mine it. Mining secures the network, but who's going to use the network? You need people to go there. You need to drive that demand, and it's like one of the hardest things to do. So if they're not using that money to onboard developers and users and get people excited about it, then everyone mining is just going to sell the token. So not something I'm a big fan of. And we're going to keep seeing that. So maybe diversify your bags if you're big on Caspa. Oh, Momo is Bonk's sister. All right, less than a month old. I'm out. We want to go with Murad's thesis on meme coins and communities, because the strongest communities have had the most pain. So the coin would have to pump, dump, again, be around for several months after that, and still have a strong community. And if you can find one of those, and he's listed this on like SPX 6900, MOG, and something else someone mentioned. Let me see. Here we go. Yeah. Can you make a video on Murad's pick, like SPX 6900, Giga, and MOG? Those have the strongest communities because they've already seen all the pain. A lot of the whales have dumped. The people that are sticking around are just there for the community. Now, if you're investing in Bonk's sister and it's only been around a month and it hasn't dumped yet, it's a little dangerous. It's a little dangerous play. I'd be very careful. If you want to find those long-term communities, again, they have to experience that pain and still be very bullish on what they're doing. So let's keep going. Is Cetus safe? Yeah. They recovered what? They were the one hacked. Yeah, so Cetus was the one was hacked. They recovered most of the assets. They got a loan from Miston Labs to recoup the missing funds that were offboarded from Sui. So that was like $60 million. And they're running again. So I'd say Cetus is safe. Sui did a great job by recovering and freezing assets that you would not have seen on any other blockchain. So I'd say they're still doing well. I moved some funds from Cetus to some other platforms just because, like, let me diversify a little bit more. So you never want to be all in on one DeFi platform because a DeFi hack can destroy your portfolio. I'm not familiar with abstract ecosystem. Is this a layer 1 or something else? That is a great question. I don't know the answer. I know it is a blockchain that you can use with your wallet, and it seems like a layer 1. I think it is a layer 1 blockchain. You can use MetaMask or Rabby. I'm using Rabby, and here we are. These are the different dApps that are available. They kind of focus around live streaming, and gaming. Now, I tried to stream on here. I do not have access yet, so maybe they'll give me access. We'll see. But I'm pretty sure they're losing money because it's extremely expensive to set up these streams. So that's why they're very selective with who they're onboarding, and they want to make sure it's worth it. Now, one of the problems here is you need to set up an account just to look at these live streams. So, that is additional friction for people to get involved here. And yeah, so I think they do have a chance. And they are building something pretty interesting that I'm not seeing on other blockchains. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm trying to farm some points here, and I'll be messing around with some abstract stuff later this week. And we're going to be talking about that in the Discord. Thoughts on Eagle? Didn't they they rebranded to MultiversX. Is there a chance to reclaim all-time high? No, there's no chance. I'm going to say it right now. There's no chance. Once you failed in the first cycle, it's really hard to reclaim attention. It's really hard to rebuild your community. A lot of people, if they lost money, they don't want to lose more money. They're just going to dump during any potential pump. And, we've seen that with like Harmony, with Polygon, I think a little bit with Avalanche, that once people start losing that attention and these newer blockchains come out, that's where the money flows to. So I'm not saying that there's no potential there, but if you don't see them actively doing things where people are excited about what they're building and being onboarded and seeing all the numbers go up, it's not somewhere you want to be. Sui and Move have the same tokenomics and same language. Move incorporates EVM alongside MoveVM. Price action looks similar to Sui after launch. Is there hope, or cooked due to fiasco? I think it's cooked due to fiasco. A lot of people were kind of burned by what happened. The token has been down only. Projects that were building there were promised grants that are worth significantly less just because of the token price. Now, I know you see the same programming language and think like, oh, it's the same thing. Well, technically, yes, but there's different things that you can do to enhance an ecosystem, whether it's building out like physical products like the Sui Play 0x1, where it's like onboarding stable coins, onboarding different DeFi projects, bringing money on chain. So there's a lot of different metrics you have to look at than just the programming language, because if we're looking at layer 2 blockchains, there's a lot of them and they all use the same programming language. So it isn't really the best indicator to find out what is going to do the best just because it's at the lower market cap. We want to ride the narratives. We want to ride the momentum of these coins. And that's why people love Sui. The momentum has been up. So that creates more people interested in building there, into using their ecosystem. Whereas with Movement Labs, it's been the opposite. So yeah, if you're not familiar, this is rollup.wtf, and it shows you what's going on chain right now, the active TPS. And if we sort that, a lot of action on Base, Polygon, Molten, Plume, Arbitrum, Optimism, and Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum is really like 7 transactions per second, but it's doing like 20. So taking a look at that, and if we look at other blockchains, they're not doing good. There's just no transactions. No one's using Metal, Superlumia, Ancient 8, Avo, Sanko, Snacks Chain. A lot of these, I'm sure you've never heard of before, but they're using the same programming language as any other L2, like Base, Arbitrum, things like that. And just because they're at a lower market cap doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be an opportunity. What do you think about Ondo? Now, Ondo is RWA, real world assets. They have a big footprint in traditional finance. I think BlackRock has a fund with Ondo. Let's see how they're doing. Over the last month, up 41%, keeping up with the average, up ever since they launched. In the last year, up 4%, which is all right. I like Ondo. I held it for a while during the big RWA craze last year, and then I sold for more Sui, which I'm happy about. Now, RWAs aren't that exciting, but they hold up well. So just something to also consider. Just let me know what made you buy Ondo. What are you excited about? What kind of news is trending with them? Is that something we should be buying? So these are different indicators we would be looking at. And if we see that excitement and momentum, then maybe people will buy it and the price will go up and it'll outperform other things. So we always want to be looking for those indicators. Quick question on SNS, Sui name service. I do own one, but can never get it to show up on Slush when I'm sending to my address. My name.sui doesn't show up. Yes. All right. So this is a crypto tech support. You have to log into Sui name service. You log in with your Slush wallet, and then you have to register your address with your Sui name. So that would allow your Sui name to connect to your address or any other address. It's pretty much just you inputting an address, and then you could use dan.sui and we'll go directly there. You can also add other people to your name. You can add other addresses to it. You can do wallet1 at Dan, wallet2 at Dan. So dan.sui for any subnames becomes wallet at Dan, or you replace wallet with any other name. Can you read Twitch chat, please? I don't have Twitch open, but I know the chat is live somewhere. So this is also streaming to multiple platforms, but if it doesn't show up on Restream, this platform I'm using, I can't really see it. You have 25 lands? Oh, this guy's killing it. Price went back from 8 to 22, went back to 12 now. Oh, yeah, I remember it peaked at 22. But yeah, I would probably diversify that. The NFTs are kind of tough, especially with land. We want to see a strong community built around that. I've never seen that around land. So, profile photo NFTs tend to do better for long-term holds if it has a strong community. ADA doing airdrop of Midnight tokens to ADA holders August 7th, also to holders of ETH, BNB, and Sol BTC. I mean, that could be good, but again, probably not that value if they're just dropping it to anybody. So, I wouldn't consider any type of airdrop too valuable just because, they're giving away money. They're giving away money for promotional stuff. And yeah, that would not really drive much value to a big ecosystem like Cardano. You need to do KYC, Dan, to claim and check the claim site, bro. What are we talking about here? Is this for... Yeah, sorry, we're losing it on the chat. Tao Bot is a good buy. I forgot. I think we went over that in a live stream. Let me bring that up. Tao Bot. $40 million market cap over the last month, 57%, a little better than the average. Let's see, we look at it's only available on Uniswap. All right. I mean, that's a pretty impressive market cap for only being available on Uniswap, but I guess the action happens on BitTensor. So this is a BitTensor decentralized exchange. That's what it kind of looks like. I've used BitTensor. The platform could use some work. The platform could use some work. I think it's like a very slow blockchain as for like DeFi use, which people don't really use it for that, which is fine. They use it for AI. I don't have too many thoughts on it. I'd probably have to jump in and use it. I kind of like that BitTensor has so much momentum in traditional finance, but it just, as a DeFi user, it doesn't have a lot of purpose for me, or they're just too wordy. They don't know how to reach Web 2 people. Like, all right, this is what people are doing. This is what you can use. And, it feels like they want to be above crypto Twitter, which is fine, but they're excluding most of their audience. So, Tao, BitTensor community, you gotta bring down the language. You gotta make your community more accessible, but they do target like traditional finance and big money. So that is kind of the play there. Is Ethena a good hold? Now, I heard Ethena was the second most profitable coin compared to USDT when it comes to stable coins, up 150% over the last month. I mean, it's looking pretty good. Market cap of 4 billion. Let's see here, over the last year, up 36%. I mean, it could be good. we're speculating on the demand for stable coins and for its DeFi usage. I'd probably have to take a better look at Ethena, because they have the stable coin and then the coin behind it, ENA. So yeah, I mean it's been killing it the last month. This could be something big. So we'd have to take a better look later. Thoughts on internet computer. Now I dove deep into ICP last year, and I was trying to see why it was so exciting at first, because they were in a bull market when I started looking into them, and a lot of projects just didn't really fulfill what they could do. They don't have any stable coins, so you have full exposure to the risk of ICP. Using their DeFi is incredibly slow, and yeah, it was just tough to really use ICP and get any traction there. So I was there early, or I consider it early, just because there was no volume on most of their coins and the attention kind of dropped. So again, attention drives price action, and if it's not getting attention and if there's no value going on chain, it's going to be tough. Things can change very quickly. They just need one good decentralized application. If they make it easy for people to build there, if they can get more dApps and users. But that's the hardest thing to do, building out an ecosystem when there are so many competitors trying to do the exact same thing. And we got another question from Ben. I'm a first-time crypto investor. I have $2,000 doing a 4-way split, AI coins, XLM, internet computer, Memecoin. Ooh, good luck, bro. Good, I don't give financial advice. I give my opinions on different coins. Whew, that's I'm more interested. How did you come to those coins? How did you hear about them? Why did you think, like, I'm going to invest in these, and I'm hoping for the best? Now, XLM is a very high market cap coin. It does have its ecosystem, but I'm in crypto Twitter. A lot of people don't really talk about that. I think they have a bigger foothold for traditional finance. Yeah, man, join the Discord, or yeah, it'll be a great interview with you. Like, how did you find out about these? Why did you pick these? And yeah, everyone, feel free to share yours too, because I'm very curious about how people get in crypto and come to the decisions that they make. Thoughts on Hash AI. So let's take a look. We're back in coin market cap. Hash AI, $40 million market cap. Been around for a little more than a year, down 78%. We've been in a bull market. Last month, up 12%, underperforming the bull market. I think it's bad. Just looking at the charts, just looking how it's performed. And let's take a look at what it is. It's a .uk site, Hash AI, searching for optimized coin, deploying miners, and no, you should not. Oh, okay. AI optimized crypto mining. Sketchy as hell. I don't think you should buy this. I mean, you could if it has that momentum, but oh yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. AI optimized crypto mining. No, I don't think that's a thing. So we'll have to wait and see. Wild has been doing well with their buyback of tokens with NFT sales and other things. Let me see here. Hang on. Let's see. Wild has been doing really well. Let's bring up Wild. I don't know. It's probably this first one. I would assume it's the one with the highest market cap. Wilder World. It has been doing really well this last month. All time. Oh my God! Wow. What happened? Well, they've been around for the last few years. The last year, they made up for everything in the last year in just the last month. All right, it's worth taking a look. Let's see. Wilder World, World Link active. Oh, it's a game, the largest multiplayer metaverse ever created. Games, GameFi. GameFi does not make you money. I'll say that. GameFi is just full pain. So if you were investing, I would look for an exit. We've seen what happens to any kind of GameFi token. Yeah, as soon as I found out it was GameFi, I was kind of out. So yeah, I mean, it's a great pump. Find the opportunity to exit, maybe if it runs out of momentum or you're just satisfied with what you're holding. But yeah, from my experience, GameFi tokens kind of extract more value than they provide. All right. What do you think about Aptos? Now, Aptos has a bigger footprint for traditional finance. I think they've been focusing more on that market than the DeFi market and degens. So it's really hard to tell how well they're doing. The token has been underperforming some of their competitors like Sui. I know that's kind of firing a shot there. Their CEO Mo left in December, and since then the price peaked back then and just has been down only. So, they've been struggling. They're not out of the game yet, but they need some narrative. They need some narrative. They need something to get people excited. But I'd still say they have a shot. They're still a very established ecosystem, still a pretty high market cap coin. Let's take a look. I actually haven't taken a look in a while. When I found out Mo was leaving, I started shorting Aptos, and it did pretty well. It did pretty well earlier this year. Ooh, sorry, let's see that. That is Aptos the last month, underperforming most of the market. So that's a big red flag for me. When, most coins up 40 or 50%, they went down. So it looks like someone with a big bag took the opportunity to sell right there. We look at how it did over the past year. Yeah, around December 15 is when Mo left, and yeah, it's been downhill since. So there are a lot of different factors to drive value to a chain, and we just have to wait for Aptos to build out some kind of narrative that people get excited about. And if that coin starts pumping around that narrative, then it's time to take a look. We don't want to jump before that point. So it just might be something to consider looking at. Pretty much a conspiracy theorist at work told me about XLM. Oh, gosh. All right. Good luck. I mean, if someone has XLM in the comments, let us know why. Let us know why. Yeah. I remember holding XLM back in the day. Again, it's been underperforming Bitcoin. We can bring that up. Let's see. I'm going to bring up TradingView. We're going to look up XLM BTC. And we want to see how it's done against Bitcoin. So every now and then, XLM has its moment, and that's what we see there. But if we look at the weekly... all right. It's just underperforming Bitcoin. Since 2018, it's been dropping in price while Bitcoin's been going up in price. We see the last few years. So, XLM always has its moments during a bull market. It happens late last year in 2024. It could be happening again, but at one point, once the momentum starts losing steam, then it might be time to short XLM. And you can see that it happens pretty nicely. Well, yeah, each of these pumps are pretty much around an alt season. So that's a good indicator if we're in an alt season. For an AI type coin with the rise of AI, hype, and money behind it, I feel like I could get a lucky 10x. Maybe? That's the hardest thing to do. In a bull market, it's pretty easy to make money. You could make those 10x's or you can make 2x. You just have to know when to take that profit, when to start selling, because it gets harder to sell once you start losing money. So just something to consider. You always want to start taking profits. Where is your Discord link, Dan? Dang, if this isn't in the video description, I gotta work on these video descriptions. It should be in my last video. It should be WHOP link. Uh, I think that's also a racial slur, so I just wanted to say WHOP. It's also in my X link, or it's on off-brand crypto. So a couple different ways to find it. If not, I'm gonna leave it in the next live stream, so it's easier to access. Let's see. We're almost caught. No, we're not caught up with the comments yet. All right. Gaming actually starting to see some pumps. Wild in Wemix. Yeah, I saw Wild pumping. So remember, there's a point where it's going to stop pumping, and people exit these GameFi projects. They're not something you hold long term. I hold NFTs on Aptos, Aptos Monkeys, Bra Bears, and some others. Okay, might have to take a look. But yeah, it's really hard to build out these NFT communities where most of the action is happening like on Ethereum. So let's see. What do you think about AVAX? I don't have any good opinions on AVAX. I just don't know what's going on there, what kind of narrative is happening. But let's take a look at the price. Let's see what kind of action has been happening on AVAX. 43% over the last month. Again, it took the average of the crypto marks, the crypto market, so it's keeping up, which is always a good sign. Over the last year, down 15%, which isn't too terrible. It's keeping up with the market pumps, and I don't know what's really going on AVAX. So we really have to look at on-chain data. We can't really look at, their website. So we'd have to go to something like DeFi Llama and figure out what people are doing on chain and like where are they making money. So we can see that they're in 10th place on DeFi Llama with about a $2 billion TVL, total value locked, just money that people brought to Avalanche. So let's click into that guy. And we can see that things are in, and over the last 24 hours, most of the fees went to Black Hole, LFJ, which is, let's effing Joe. I don't know. It used to be Merchant Mo, so that is their DEX. Then Aave, Euler, which isn't that bad. Again, Let's Bonk made more than triple that as one platform on Solana because people love to make meme coins. Let's see, Black Hole is a DEX. So yeah, there's activity there. They're not doing too bad, but I got to find out like why people are buying it and why people will continue to buy it. So we want to find out what kind of marketing narratives are bringing users to AVAX, what's bringing developers, and things like that. So it's more of a nuanced thing. Oh yeah, what about Brot? Brot is just in pain. That just seems dead. They came back for a while. They were streaming, but I really believed in the narrative that there's going to be AI entertainment. And that I thought that would have been in the form of live streaming, where it's like, all right, well, I want to watch something. I'm going to watch this AI bot. Didn't quite work out. But I think AI entertainment is still pretty big. If you're on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, I'm 100% sure you've seen vlogs with the monkey or vlogs with from anime or other things where people are bringing to life these different creations that's all AI generated. I've been watching AI generated sitcoms, which have been pretty funny. So yeah, I think AI entertainment is still going to be a big thing. If it's on chain, awesome. If Brot's doing that, even better. But right now, it kind of died. So, I don't make the best picks. I have my reasoning behind something where like, okay, Brot is in AI entertainment. I believe that that's going to be a big thing, but it didn't get the attention there. Like it didn't grow its Twitter presence, or Twitch presence. And that's hard to do. You need clips, you need momentum, you need a lot of attention. So they were a small team. I kind of believe they'd make it happen, but I lost a lot of money there. And they are still building as alias.app. So it's a more DeFi AI agent launchpad where you can have either your VTuber or AI bot. And I think they're still building. So that is the good news. But the bad news is that token did not do well. And I gave a terrible pick. So that's why I don't like giving picks. But I will share my thesis around like why I think something will do well or something will not do well. You feel you missed XRP, so you buy XLM. That's what retail does. Yeah, I guess so. But I feel like no one really missed XRP unless you were in XRP in 2017. Like if it's 2025, 8 years later, it's just been underperforming Bitcoin like crazy. Oh man, we got GPT's Josh and we got King Capital. I got double Josh in here. Josh missed the stream. It's all good. We'll do another one and we'll keep things going and try to get like a good cadence of these streams going, like maybe a couple of times a week at this time. Oh, Josh in the stream. Josh, what's up? You made it.
I made it against all odds. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Are people getting echo because I'm not using headphones? Let me set that up.
Feedback. Good morning, guys. I just woke up. Sorry I'm late.
No worries. I was winding down. I was like, all right. Oh, it's been 70 minutes. Man, I've been talking a lot about crypto.
Nice. We could talk crypto all day. It's what we do, man. It's what we do. I was listening along for the last maybe 20 minutes of the stream.
Just relaxing for 20 minutes, huh?
I was waking up, man. You don't just get up. I don't just get up looking at this.
I'm not ready for this yet. Yeah.
Brush my teeth.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But we will be back with a special new series coming soon. I won't say too much on that. We'll deliver first, and we'll talk about more about that later. But I'm looking forward to that. And look, that's perfect that you pulled up my comment right as I'm showing up. Which KOL had the worst picks, right? I know you were just talking about Brot. That's funny. But from what you've seen and from what you've reviewed, what picks seemed the most outlandish, or just like, what is this? Or clearly they're talking to people who aren't seasoned in crypto.
Right. I mean,
not to stir the pot, but
I don't know if we should name names, but if you're on crypto Twitter, you know who to avoid. Like if they're talking about a coin, you know it's a scam. I think you and me went over this project called Tens, which is this AI poker playing, which is just AI bots. And Crypto Rover was promoting it as revolutionary. Like it's gonna change everything. It's like, no, you can play up against like poker bots right now.
The infamous Crypto Rover. For you guys, if you're new to CT, if you're new to crypto Twitter, by the way, when we say CT, we mean crypto Twitter or crypto X. There's definitely some accounts who will post some radical picks and provide some grounds. They were sponsored to do that, and you have to ask yourself the question: is this sponsored or is this retarded? Not to use the R word. Is it sponsored or is it retarded? Now you see some accounts like Crypto Rover. You see some like call accounts, shill accounts. They may have upwards of 100,000 followers, and so they're able to accept big sums of money to talk about any given project. And if you're new to crypto Twitter and you think you're gathering good alpha, hey, I just saw this big account talk about this. It says we're early, and you could end up getting wrecked. So definitely you want to make sure that you're able to evaluate the KOLs themselves, their reputability. Is their opinions being bought, or is it their actual unbiased opinions, and are these good picks? So in this new series that Dan and I are looking to embark on, we're going to make sure that users are just more educated and aware of how to evaluate KOLs and their calls. And I think we're going to make it pretty entertaining as well. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Well said. Because, you need these nuanced reasons. Like, if someone just says, oh, it's the best thing, you got to buy this, it's going 100x. Like, wait a minute. You didn't give me any, like, solid reasoning behind that. And I feel like you're just going to sell this coin after I buy it so I lose money. That's a realistic situation of what happens to people.
Exactly. The typical scenario is that the KOL actually gets to double dip as far as getting paid and getting or extracting funds. in the form of the project themselves paying them to talk about it, and as well as them buying tokens before they blast it on crypto Twitter so that they can sell on top of you, telling you that, oh, this is the new alpha, this is amazing. But then the moment everyone starts rushing in to buy it, they've already exited on top of you, right?
Yeah.
So the KOLs will try to make it look like we're getting rich with you, when in reality, a lot of them are getting rich on you, right?
And that's what's also going to happen, like not just on crypto Twitter, but on YouTube, when it's like 100x coins. And you know, the strategy behind that is like, all right, I'm going to give a few calls that everyone is going to say it's a good buy, and then the shit call where I'm going to make my money because I got sponsored to do that, and I'm not telling people.
Exactly, right? So are they getting rich with you or getting rich on you? Always ask yourself that question, right? Are you the exit liquidity? Most of the times with a lot of these KOLs who their opinions will just be bought, they're looking to exit on top of you, right? So
not
here
here
at
all. Yeah. Well, that's why we're doing these streams. So feel free to drop your terrible picks, and we'll either grill you on it or maybe we'll join you depending on like what we see.
Exactly. And see, a big reason, that's actually one of the big reasons I'm an airdrop hunter, and I like to get into projects from the ground floor, maybe get something like an airdrop and really, minimize that risk, and also be early in different ways. You know, it's definitely very important, as you always hear in crypto, DYOR, do your own research, know how to research properly, and make educated decisions, right?
Right. So I also, we've been streaming for 75 minutes. I did not know I also had to hit start live on BitGet. I was like, I forgot to hit the start live button. I hit start stream on Restream, which is good for all the other streams.
Yeah.
I forgot to hit start live on BitGet. I was like, oh yeah, shit.
So you've been streaming on BitGet Live as well. I didn't know that. How's that been?
Not great. I haven't been doing a good job on it. I keep forgetting to hit start live.
And is this accessible through the BitGet app, like for the regular SEX, the centralized exchange? Can you see the streams in there?
For people, yes. For streamers, you have to go through the website. So BitGet's available in Canada, right?
Yep, that's what I use.
Oh, okay, because they're doing like the BitGet KCGI, Kings Cup Global Invitational something. But when you stream, you also get points for that. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to have to stream anyway. Let me get some points for this thing. And then, you said, an airdrop. That's an easy airdrop. I'll take it.
Yes, especially if it's what you already do anyway, right?
Yes. I forgot to hit this 75 minutes ago.
That's tough. Well, tomorrow morning or tomorrow night for you, rather, we're coming with another one, so we'll make sure we get everything.
Absolutely. So, anyone here in the chat, feel free to swing by tomorrow. Let us know what you're looking at. We'll share our thoughts. And if you want to hit this video with a like and some comments, that engagement helps a lot.
It does. It goes a long way. And who knows, you could be saving a fellow crypto user from getting scammed or bamboozled from these KOLs, right?
Yeah.
So it's important that we spread this alpha as far as we can. It helps the community, and it helps users just make more educated decisions.
Yeah, and someone brought up like my worst pick brought and also talk about like what my thesis was and why it didn't work out. And I still believe like the team is still building, since the other thing is alias.app. But I'll be transparent. Like I lost money on that because I over believed in it, and it didn't get the attention I thought it was going to get.
But at the same time, though, that was not necessarily a bad pick if you sold, because it did go on a run from the time that you called it. I remember we were in the retail DAO at the time, and you made that call, and it went on to do a couple of X's. So a lot of times it's I guess knowing how to take profits, knowing what to sell, and
the AI narrative did dry up like right after that.
And managing your Kool-Aid dosage, right? The narrative was great. You see, the team was great. They had a lot of great personnel. They had all the legitimate executives and team members. They had legal in line, and it goes to show even a project that has all the intangibles could still end up somewhat failing if the demand just simply isn't there. I don't think there was a big demand for watching AI Minecraft players, I would say, or just in practice still didn't work. So definitely another thing to watch out for. But I don't think that was necessarily a bad pick. If you bag held, of course you bag held. But if the team is still holding, it's not like a pure rug. It's not like a anon team that's just pulled the liquidity and walked away. So,
yeah, there's still liquidity there, so I was like, all right, so it's not terrible, but you know, it underperformed everything else, which is why you gotta diversify. But AI was so hot, so I put like a bigger bet on them, and then I was like, oh, that was my big fumble this year.
Yes, that's your big fumble this year. But I mean,
we'll make it back.
As part of the game, we'll bring it back. I still have some calls to make. I do have some calls to make. I won't drop any of them yet in this episode, but I do have some calls to make, and I'm excited to see how those play out. Because as you guys can hear, we're not looking to be like those other KOLs that are just taking money to make a call. We actually like to do research over at Off-Brand Crypto. We actually like to do analysis, break down tokenomics, see where the value structure is and everything like that. Based on that, I'm going to come with my own top couple picks. I'm not going to say 1000x, clickbait, but well-researched picks. So stay tuned for that as well. Looks like somebody has a personal question for me in the chat, but we can get to that later.
We'll get into that in a second. I just wanted to jump off that 1000x. There isn't 1000x, but we should translate it. 1000x just means I really believe in this coin. I kind of believe in this coin. 10x, like, this might do okay. That's the translation.
Yeah, 10x is like, this just might maybe do okay. I see that people like it. You know what I mean? 10x is basically like saying, like, it's just like a thumbs up. And exactly, if they're saying 1000x, hopefully you can get a 3 or 4x on whatever that 1000x pick is, right? So that's the thing with that, 100%, especially with these obscure lower caps.
Oh yeah. I mean, I want to make a lot of money on low market cap coins, but in my experience, they don't do well. So you got to diversify.
Definitely got to diversify for sure. Somebody asked me, James MC, Josh, do you believe in a gaming comeback? Was it ever here is my question. I feel like the GameFi was I feel like GameFi as a sector, I've mentioned this before, is sort of in beta, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a sector that's in beta. We've seen different projects, of course, get hype, of course, raise money, draw in liquidity. But ask yourself, have you actually seen a GameFi game, I guess outside of maybe Axie Infinity back in like 2021, 2022? Have you seen a GameFi game that was actually adopted by gamers and actually has a value structure or a good flywheel that actually brings value back into the token, right? I don't think we've actually seen that at all. Or a game where it's like, oh, I want to log in every day, play this game just because I love this game. Same way I would with a Web2 game, or just that whole Web3 integration or NFT integration into like a AAA title, a AAA game. I don't believe we're there yet. I definitely believe it's in the pipeline. But as I mentioned, the whole sector to me is in beta. I think maybe after GTA 6, we'll see what they do. There's rumors that there's going to be some sort of in-game economy that is like translatable into the real world. Maybe they're using blockchain. Maybe they're using NFTs. And we're going to see how that plays out. That could maybe bring a season. Someone did. I see Pygo's mentioning Off the Grid. I actually have it on my PlayStation. Off the Grid. I have it on PS5. Matchmaking, I wasn't able to find the game first couple of times, and I kind of just put it down. However, that I guess is the closest, in my opinion, the closest thing that we've seen. Decent amount of players, but even still, I feel like that's still like a beta sort of. That we're still in beta overall. Off the Grid, definitely great development there. Solid game. I'm not taking anything away from what they built there. It is a good game, and the fact that I can literally hop on the PlayStation Network or the PlayStation Store, download it, play it. There's players, and it is a crypto product. Is cool. So salute to them on that. Still don't think that sector as a whole is there, and there really isn't much to do there, in my opinion.
Yeah, still early. We'll have to wait and see. Someone says MapleStory also has a good amount of players. Do you know of like a DeFi llama that shows you like, all right, what are the most popular games that people are playing in crypto?
I could pull it up on Dune.
It would have to be. It would only be Dune, right? I guess. But Dune has like the worst interface.
It sucks. You have to know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Let's see. Players, but Maple Story, that's something I think you're more familiar with than I am. I've never really played with that.
I'm not. That would be more of like a Geo, uh, another another member of Off-Brand Crypto. He does a lot of gaming. He does gaming streams. I think he's connected with the team too. So I was like, all right, he would be the perfect person to ask. And he might be playing it right now because he said he was playing it last time.
Oh, Off the Grid?
So, no, Maple Story.
Oh, Maple Story, rather. Yes. And yeah. I believe Jared, another member of...
Jared, yes.
Yeah, another member of Off-Brand is into crypto gaming as well, or at least the NFT
I honestly don't like it because if I like the game, all my time is gone. So I try not to get into GameFi.
Yeah, if I like the game, and I mean, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing in my opinion. If the game is to that level where it's like I want to play it the same way I play a game like Skyrim or a Pokemon, where it's just kind of like, you know, I drink the Kool-Aid and it takes away from my day.
Yeah,
that's the signs of a good game, and I would invest there. But I don't think we've had that sort of level of a game come out yet in the crypto space, at least from my experience. I love the game. Right. And so
I mean, the only real game is just meme coins, really. It's just like, all right, how long can I hold this before I have to sell?
Yeah, it's like a game of Crash. It's like a casino game. So I think actually when we start to see big GameFi adoptions, when we hear of some of the AAA studios actually talk about integrating crypto, that's whether it's Epic Games, whether it's Activision, Ubisoft. Remember that these studios are the ones that are delivering like the games that the gaming community just in general are playing, right? So I believe once we start seeing that sort of integration, we are seeing companies integrate crypto in different ways and talk about crypto, from the biggest companies like Apple to what was it? Just all sorts of different companies, big time companies integrating crypto, investing in crypto, using crypto rails, things like that. So I think it's just a matter of time until that ripple effect goes to actual game studios like Ubisoft, like Nintendo, even whatever. And then that's when I believe GameFi will finally arrive, in my opinion.
And the good thing is, like, Off the Grid being in the PlayStation Store, that's the beta test for like other AAA developers to see, like, oh, is there demand for this? Do people want this? Are they making a ton of money? We're going to do that too then.
Exactly. So there needs to be that guinea pig, that lamb to the slaughter that goes in, sort of tests that out, fills out the market. And of course, if there is a real demand for, let's say it's something like Off the Grid, like let's say they just explode and there's a huge demand and Off the Grid is just like, you know, earning hand over fist in fees or NFT sales, then, you know, of course, companies are here for profit, right? And to make money. So I feel like once that's done properly, that guinea pig is out the way, then we'll see more big studios actually start to integrate this. And once they integrate that, I believe that's when GameFi is going to be how it is for how the enthusiasts are talking about it, because they already have the user bases, they already have the fans, they already have the player bases, and then just simply integrating that into something like their in-game store, in-game economy seamlessly, that's when I believe we'll have a cascade of real GameFi.
Absolutely. But we also have to wait for like what kind of demand drivers are there for that token. So we want to hope for that, but we also want to be careful.
Yeah, I totally agree. The part that excites me the most for when this does become a real thing are the NFTs actually, right? Because you think of games where like you get there's a rare gun or a rare item or a rare piece of loot that's like hard to find or hard to upgrade to. And we already have that perceived value in the game, but we can never like resell it, right? We can never actually sell it on the open market, even though across all players we know it's valuable that to have the scar with this scope and with this grip and or whatever the case. Now actually you can put real value into it. So the NFT part of it is what I think excites me most about that.
Yeah, so lots of potential, but still too early. We don't want to go all in. We want to diversify our portfolio. We don't want to bet too big on GameFi this early just because a lot of it doesn't keep up with the rest of the market.
Yes, I still think we're years away, to be honest. I want to see what happens after GTA 6. If they do integrate some blockchain technology of any kind, definitely that could start a cascade for sure. That's the most, GTA 6 is the most expensive game ever built They spent more on developing GTA 6 than they spent on building the Burj Khalifa, the tallest.
That's crazy.
That's a fun fact for you guys. They spent more on GTA 6 development than they did on building the tallest building in the whole world, the Burj Khalifa. So that's a testament to what they're putting into it. And if they do integrate some sort of crypto technology, that could be huge for both gaming and for crypto, of course.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got a couple other questions here. I want to catch up on a couple of these. Let's see. Crypto Traverse. I made a lot of money from Story Protocol. APR is still high on V1 staking, 40%. 40% is a high interest rate, which sounds great. But it's a little dangerous. If that token crashes, then you might be stuck holding the bag. And this is kind of a way for people to extract money from you. So you never want to see staking too high. But let's take a look at the on-chain metrics. I know Story Protocol has been pumping. It doesn't make sense. I'm losing money shorting this thing. Just a heads up. But, don't follow everything I'm doing. Let's see. $21 million in TVL, which isn't high. But in the last 24 hours, they made $17. You know how much it costs to operate a blockchain? How much they have to pay for a headcount and developers and HR and staff? They made $17 in the last 24 hours in a bull market, There's just no activity there.
Yeah, honestly, 600,000 in volume is not impressive. $118 in perps volume.
No one's doing anything there.
Short. That was
just me. That was just me losing money. That was just me losing $118.
I think that's just you, because on Cetus there's only $118 on leverage.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure how accurate this is, but then 600,000 in volume for an entire blockchain ecosystem, to me that's very, very low. That's interesting. And honestly, 21 million in TVL is not impressive for, I guess, how much they've raised in the Hyperon story. But you said it's
FDV of 5.5 billion.
What the heck?
It's crazy, right?
What's the liquidity like? Because if there's only 21 million in TVL,
probably low float. It would have to be low float.
It has to be low float. The market cap is sitting at 1.6 B. The FDV at over 5 B.
It doesn't make sense to me. So I wouldn't invest in it, but I would stop shorting it.
Yeah, maybe the time to short is coming, but not quite yet. That's interesting.
So, I'd be careful with that. Great APR, but do you believe in the token? Do you think it's going to continue going up? Do you think there's a demand for a blockchain just for intellectual property? Are people adopting that? In my opinion, that hasn't quite happened yet. Sonium has been doing the intellectual property on their chain for different anime properties, which is amazing. That's another emerging ecosystem that I'm also looking at. So we have Sonium, Abstract, Mega ETH, just to name a few that we're looking at. Praxis Nation, that are still pre-launch, that still have a lot of opportunity. So if you're looking for 100x gains, it's like you go in there, you get an airdrop, and then you stick to like the most trending thing.
Yes, 100%. You nailed it on the head. Now, honestly, I didn't do too deep of research into Story Protocol or IP, but the idea of tokenizing or bringing intellectual property on chain, to me, makes sense. I'm not sure what the demand is going to be like for in this very moment in time. Definitely, I can see that as something in the future, depending on how we honor that or how that actually is in practice. Let's say somebody copyright infringes on your IP, and it's like, hey, you can see on chain that this is mine. I'm suing you, and I'm going to use this as grounds, or whatever the case, right? To me, that makes sense. I'm not sure how that actually is in practice, or what sort of brands or companies are actually bringing their IP or their what's the word for it? What's the word? What do you get again to protect your IP?
I don't know how to put it, because we're not like IP guys. But
we're not IP guys. But just from watching like Shark Tank, they always pay for, what is it when you finally have an IP?
Oh, patents.
A patent, thank you. I don't know why that was going over my head.
Yeah.
So pretty much bringing patents on chain to prove it universally. So I'm not really sure exactly how that'll be versus like an actual legitimate patent from an actual like government entity versus like story protocol. Like what is this?
Right,
and
right.
this is telling me that it's yours or whatever the case. So I'm not sure how that actually is in practice.
Yeah. So more on that sort of back in Sonium, when people were launching meme coins there, people were coming up with Sony, PlayStation 2, actual intellectual property violations on Sonium. You know what Sonium did? They banned them. They blocked those addresses. They blocked those contracts. And then people were mad. The community was mad. It's like, oh, I guess we can't launch meme coins here. I was like, that's how you can protect your intellectual property very easily. It's just by taking out the copycats.
Exactly. And that's pretty bold. That is pretty bold of people to on Sony's own blockchain to use their IP for something like a meme coin. So I'm actually interested to see how that plays out. To me, it's not vaporware. To me, it's something that actually makes sense. But again, just how it is in practice, I would definitely rather put my bets on Sony doing this than like a new launch blockchain. But that's interesting. That's interesting. I just didn't do enough research.
And the fifth one, Robinhood Chain. So we got like our top 5, no coin yet, but emerging ecosystems that you absolutely should look into just because of all the hype and attention they could potentially get.
Yes. I would say of those, my favorite is probably Praxis and Sonium. I'd probably put those towards the top. Praxis and Sonium. Praxis because it's so, it's huge for headlines. It's huge for Crypto City. They're building Crypto City. I like the resources that they have. Sam Altman, OpenAI, A16Z, Paradigm, like just deep resources. And then what I liked the most is that if you guys tuned into Dan and I's last stream where we interviewed a member from Say, he from the Say team, he was already aware of it, and he threw that in so casually. Me and Dan were like, "Oh, it's not Praxis," you know. But it's not such common knowledge across users quite yet, but it's common knowledge across builders and founders and teams, which I thought is really interesting. I feel like it starts there and then it trickles down from there. So I could definitely see it gaining a lot of mind share when they actually get into the development of the city and things like that. So definitely, if you're an off-brand crypto Discord, definitely expect some coverage on Praxis Nation from me.
Yes, but in the short term, I think people are teasing that Abstract Chain might be launching soon. And people have been earning points from like trading NFTs. I'm like, all right, maybe we just launch a fun NFT collection and gain a lot of points.
Ooh, we should launch one on Abstract, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should, because a lot of the time, I'm not sure if we have any builders in the audience, but a lot of the time, if you notice with new launch blockchains, the biggest allocations for the airdrop, of course, you got the regular farmers, I'll say, the local pedestrian farmers, regular citizen farmers, building volume, getting your wallet history up. And then there's another level to it, which are the builders. And these blockchains want to support their top communities. They want to support their top builders that are bringing more activity, more fees onto their chain. So they would get another airdrop that you may not be aware of, or they may not even be disclosing, which is a community airdrop, but they would get the lion's share or a much bigger allocation than a regular user, of course, because they want to support these communities that are bringing activity and making fun things to do on the chain. Right. So I'm not sure if there's any builders in the chat, but that is some alpha that not everyone may know. Projects get the lion's share. I do have a friend who has a pretty good project over on Bear Chain, was building it for months before the chain launched, and their airdrop allocation was like face melting. Right.
Ooh,
and this
okay.
Again.
All right, all 5 chains. That's what we're doing. Off brand everywhere.
Yeah. We're face melting. And even I saw then from his POV, I got access to see a few different projects that also got the airdrop, because he was comparing like, hey, we're better than that project. They got more than we did. We have, let's say, a better community, a bigger community, right? So you have to think about it. They're airdropping to reward people who are contributing to the chain, right? So the bigger your contribution, the bigger the airdrop, right? So if you're a builder, you're contributing to the chain by bringing on users, right? That's one of the top priorities. So you get compensated as such, right? So I definitely think building something on Abstract would be really cool. I'm not sure how close we are to TGE now, but definitely expect the top projects on that chain to get the lion's share. Same thing happened with the Arbitrum airdrop. Same thing happened with pretty much every single blockchain that is coming out or that is a new launch. They go from the top down. They take care of their top builders, and then it's the community members, so on and so forth. So I think that is some alpha for you guys.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna start cooking with that tomorrow and figuring out how we can do this. Even if they're like shitty AI generated NFTs, that doesn't matter. It's like, were you active? Do you have on-chain data? Were you trading something? It's like, you're in.
Yes. And honestly, I do think that we are well primed to do this because we have built-in content as well. Built-in content, guys. We do these streams all the time. We can round up the community. We can do in-server communities. A lot of fun things we can do. So I won't say too much, but look out for the building side of off-brand crypto. Definitely think that we can do some great community stuff and have some great incentives for our community as well.
So, I mean, that just means free, terrible NFTs if you are in the off-brand community. Look forward to it. We're dropping them everywhere, getting you those points, getting you those airdrops, creating opportunities.
That's right. Come get you a useless, valueless NFT and see if it can bring you any value.
Yeah, that's how we have to set the standard. We're a reverse 100x. You know, we're giving you the reverse 100x. We let you build that up yourself. We're the IKEA of creators. Like, here's the ingredients. This is on you now.
Yes, and to be honest with you, this is actually a proven concept. Steady Teddy's NFTs. If you follow me on X, you see that I sport a Steady Teddy, and they were saying that from day one. Like, sorry for your loss. The moment you buy, once you buy the NFT, it says sorry for your loss.
Oh, I love that.
Enjoy your valueless NFT. Like, see you at zero. Right? They say that all the time, but it's actually been the most successful project on the chain, and they've been pumping like crazy. And I've got a couple X's now and an airdrop from them. So, I like that angle. Never overhype, always over deliver. Don't say too much. Like, congratulations, this is worth nothing. It's a picture of a teddy bear. Then you're an idiot. See you at zero. Sorry for your loss. And then ends up pumping quite a few X's. So I think that's funny.
I feel like that's a good note to end on. I feel like we got that energy. Good note to end on. And you guys are going to have to come back tomorrow so we can continue this conversation.
Yes, or keep up with the conversation over in the off-brand Discord. We're there 24/7. So, come join the convo there. But we're going to do this again tomorrow and try bring more consistent streams for you guys.
Absolutely. So we appreciate everyone for hanging out. Bring your questions, coins that you want reviewed tomorrow. We'll look into them, and we'll do our best to give you some insights and help you find those opportunities. Be sure to follow Josh on YouTube and X. His information is in the description. We'll leave the community description in another video, or it's in my last one if you're following me on YouTube or X.
Perfect. Thank you for having me. I'm glad I was able to at least join the outro. Hope you guys got some value from this. Be sure you like, subscribe so we can spread this content out, and join us in the off-brand Discord. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Later, everyone. See ya.